Friends, Dreamcasters, countrymen, prepare to enter the Dream Arena for episode 34 of the Dreamcast Junkyard DreamPod. Allegiances and friendships should be left at the Coliseum entrance and replaced with swords, shields, boxing gloves and Dreamcast fishing rods as we prepare to engage in gladiatorial combat and discuss the best and worst fighting games on the Dreamcast.
This is a Dreamcast disc and is for use only on a Dreamcast unit. Playing this disc on a hi-fi or other audio equipment can cause serious damage to its speakers.
Dreamcast, up to 6 billion players.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
Why don't we play together?
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go!
Please stop this disc now.
My name is Tom, and as ever, I'm joined by an international roster of combatants. All the way from Japan, we have Ross. Hello, Ross.
Hello, good morning to you. It's 1 a.m. over here, and I'm a little bit sleepy. But...
like really full of gusto, so yeah, that's a good start. We've got Aaron the Gaggerman Foster.
Hello.
We've got Rob.
Hello.
Hello, Rob. Very clear today. Nice to see you using that microphone I sent you about 6 months ago. Who else have we got? We've got Caleb, all the way from upstate New York. How's it going?
Hello, Tom.
Hello. We've also... God, it's a full house today. We've got... we also have Mike Phelan.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. And we also have a special guest, Spencer. He is one of our amazing Patreon contributors. He's also a very learned guy. He writes for Hardcore Gaming 101. Spencer, joining us all the way from Indiana.
Hi. Yep, that's me.
How the devil are you, okay?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, Tom.
Excellent. It's like I say, it's a pleasure to have yourself and everybody else on the podcast as we talk about fighting games. Before we jump in and speak about what everybody's been playing and what we've been doing, just want to focus on you a little bit, Spence. I'm going to put you on the spotlight and just talk a little bit about what you've done, a little bit about yourself. As I mentioned earlier, you've written quite some amazingly extensive articles for Hardcore Gaming 101.
Oh, you. Watch out, everyone. This one's a
Sounds
charmer.
like we should have got you on the Shmup episode.
Well, yeah, I thought that, and I was like, dang.
Yeah, because your articles, especially the Don Don Pachi one, and Ibarra Pink Sweets, are wow. These are they're like 20,000 word complete breakdowns of the entire series of game.
It's funny you say that. So the Dodonpachi Resurrection one is actually over 15,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes into such amazing detail. Didn't you also contribute to the physical book that Hardcore Gaming put out?
Yeah, Hardcore Gaming recently put out a book, the best 200 video games of all time, and I wrote about like these. They're kind of obscure, like Resident Evil 4, Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, it wasn't like one of them had like 20 rewrites or anything. No, because no pressure.
Yeah, I've seen the book. I've actually held it and read through it because one of my friends has got the book, and it is really, really cool. It's a fantastic, and that's kind of the thing that I wanted to do kind of for the Dreamcast before Sega said, "Oi, stop putting things out about the Dreamcast that we didn't make," because But yeah, it's a great book, and if you're listening to this and you want to know more about Spencer's work and also the website Hardcore Gaming, it is very hardcore, as the name suggests.
The most addictive website in the world. I have spent so many hours on that website. It's ridiculous. I can't go on there and not end up wasting hours on it.
It's like the Wikipedia
of good writing.
yeah, it's fantastic. We'll put links in the little show note bit underneath the podcast episode on the Dreamcast Junkyard blog. But just wanted to let you know who Spencer is, and also if you wanted to be on the podcast like Spencer and you are a Patreon, then go and have a look and see how you do it on the Patreon site for the Junkyard. Also at this point, I just wanted to say that everybody else who has contributed to making the DreamPod free of adverts and helping us to keep the server going is massive thanks from me and everybody else here on the podcast and on the site. We will do a roll call at the end of the episode, giving a shout out to everybody who's done that. But before we jump into our proper subject, which is fighting games, let's just go around the room. quite a big room if people are in Japan and America and, other parts of the UK, and just talk a little bit about what we've maybe picked up in the last week or so or played. I'm going to go down the list here. I'm going to start with you, Caleb. What have you been doing on the Dreamcast or otherwise?
Well, mostly on the Dreamcast, I have been messing around with the keyboard and mouse, actually.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to clean up my keyboard and mouse because I just kind of had them out in the open a little bit because I had the tournament set up, and one of the things I wanted to do for my latest tournament was to set up the 2-player typing of the dead.
Oh, wow.
And so I had...
Didn't even know that had 2-player.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had the typing of the dead set up, and so basically it's like... anyways, I had all the Samba de Amigo stuff set up. So basically, I've just been going through all my stuff that I kind of had out in preparation of the tournament, which ended up, getting postponed. And I've just been cleaning and trying to see if there's anything I can do. My poor Panther DC again, man, that thing. Parts of it are basically just rotting away, and I don't think there's anything I can do with it. I think it's basically just because it was stored badly before I even owned it.
And that's the thing with the wheel,
yes,
or the ball, even. Yeah.
That's the one. So basically, I've just been going over my hardware, and I've just been trying to figure out better ways to tape video off the HDMI. Man, I felt bad. Like Game Grumps is like the biggest YouTube channel of all. And, like, their Dreamcast stuff that they just put out looked like complete garbage.
Oh, what game did they play?
They played Jet Set Radio, or Jet Grind Radio.
I saw that.
Are they actually going to bother with it, unlike Shenmue?
Yeah, so I'm like, if a guy like me who doesn't have, it's not his job to do this, can set up like a better setup, like I don't get it, man. A certain former governor has expressed interest in doing a review of a video game called Expendable, which I believe was called something else in the UK.
Oh, Millennium Soldier.
That's a classic shmup, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Okay, Aaron, what about yourself?
I haven't actually been playing a lot lately. I've been quite busy with sorting out videos about E3 and all that kind of stuff, and not sleeping because I had a horrible toothache for a week.
Didn't you go on holiday as well? Didn't you go on holiday to Disney World?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I went to Disneyland in Paris as well, yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah, mostly not been playing a lot. I've mainly, if there's anything I have been playing, but it hasn't been for a couple of weeks now, it was Splatoon. I've been mainly playing that. I only just finally got around to buying it, but because it's like a primarily online game, almost everyone is maxed out at level 50 already, and I'm having to sort of climb my way up. But I think it's quite well balanced with how it works anyway, so, I've been quite enjoying that.
Because you're the only person in the UK who's got a Wii U, aren't you? So it's,
apparently.
Hey, I've got a Wii U too. You played on it, Tom.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Which
says
brings me
the
on
guy
to
with a Jaguar CD.
Which brings me on nicely to Rob, actually. What have you been playing on, Rob?
Also, I haven't really been playing on too much because I've also been sort of like on E3 and WDC mode for T3. But apart from that, I did pick up Rage of the Dragons for Neo Geo MVS, which I know isn't Dreamcast, but that's pretty...
That's that weird Double Dragon thing, isn't it, where they wanted to make a Double Dragon.
It's not Double Dragon. It's Double Dragon, but they couldn't get the rights.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just sort of made up fake versions of the characters.
That's right, exactly. It's weird and a bit offbeat, and it's the sort of thing that I like to try and pick up. So I managed to pick up one of those in MVS and gave it a custom shot box and everything. So that was nice. Apart from that, I've been playing on various fighters for the Dreamcast, but I won't talk about those right now. But that's
getting your research in.
I'm afraid that's pretty much it.
No problem. What about you, Ross?
Actually, I just got back from Osaka. It was a friend's birthday on the weekend. And today I went to a Sega arcade and I was playing Star Wars Battle Pod.
Yeah, I've played a bit of that.
I'd seen it on in like magazines on YouTube. I'd never seen one in the flesh before, so I saw that.
Was it the actual pod machine that you walk inside and you've got the screen all around you, or was it just the single screen? No, I think they've just recently made a regular cabinet as well, like a cheaper alternative one, with just a widescreen.
This was the big a big like pod-like thing. They converted them from. There was a Gundam game that used the same pods. This kind of.
I think it's actually the same pods from a Namco game called Max Storm. I think it was called.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, the Gundam game was something else.
It's a Gundam game anyway. I played it before.
Yeah.
And they've converted the cabs from that, I'm sure. So look exactly the same.
Yeah.
They've now got like Star Wars overlays and stuff.
Yeah.
And It was pretty good. I thought the game. It's a very simple. It's just a on rails shooter.
Pretty on rails-ish, isn't it?
But it's like good. It's like really good atmosphere. Makes you feel like you're really going into the trenches of the Death Star and stuff. So it's really cool to play.
I noticed you put some pictures up on Facebook last week about didn't you have like a games night at your apartment? Yeah. And it was just like in the background you've got all these like candy like cabs and stuff, and it's just like that is just the most amazing apartment of all time, you know.
I'm staying over when I go there.
Yeah, you're all welcome.
Open invitation. Everybody just goes to Ross's in Japan. Yeah. Cool. Anything on the Dreamcast, Ross?
No, actually, no, nothing on the Dreamcast, to be honest. In the last.
Okay, no worries.
No, play my Naomi a lot, but not so much with Dreamcast.
Yeah, cool. All right, going to come to you next, Mike. How have you been doing? What have you been playing, buying?
Always buying with me. It's never playing. I had a week off, so I decided to get some modern games. So I've got Doom on the go at the current time. The new Doom.
Yes.
Which is pretty good. The DLC for Witcher 3 and the DLC for Fallout 4. On Dreamcast, the only game I've been playing is I attempted, stupidly, to do a 24-hour real-time race on Le Mans.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You do realise you can save and come back to that, you know?
No, I know. I tried to, but that's where it went wrong. So it didn't save, which I'm not happy about, because I did 6 hours.
Did you not have enough blocks or something?
After 23 hours and then save and then come back.
That's nightmarish. There's 6 hours, and I went back to it and it wasn't there. So I decided that was a stupid plan.
You also did a really good article on NFL games for the Dreamcast Junkyard, which I thought was really, really in-depth. I mean, because I don't really know much about American football, but that inspired me to then start playing some other NFL games, which I thought was really, really cool. I liked it.
The art's written for quite a while, so I haven't played them for a while now. But yeah, I always like American football games on consoles. It's always fun to dip into a sport that you're sort of familiar with, but not as in depth. And it's always better than the normal football games on Dreamcast, because they are just terrible. Yeah.
Before we move on briefly, one of the things that I noticed certainly about the NFL 2K games was the presentation is phenomenal. You know, the commentary, the introductions, everything about it makes you feel like you're actually watching a real NFL game.
We're not getting EA Sports. Well, we can do one better.
No, to this day, the final one they made was 2K5 for the Xbox, and to this day, that's still better than the latest Madden, in my opinion. They did make one other All-Star Pro Football, I think it's called, but it didn't have the NFL license. I've not played that one, but this 2K5, I swear, is still far better than current Madden's. The animations, the way like multiple players make tackles, and the physics and stuff, the way the blockers decide to pick up men and stuff is still far more realistic than Madden.
Yeah,
and it's 10 years later, they still haven't matched.
Interesting.
I never played it personally, but I've heard nothing but good things, especially when compared to Madden, about all the 2K Sports series and their EA counterparts.
Yeah.
Which brings us actually on nicely to you, Spencer. What have you been playing? Have you been playing the Dreamcast or anything really, like retro or modern?
For the Dreamcast, I was playing a couple of games with a friend, seeing which one actually was my favorite fighting game. So doing research.
Hey.
And then otherwise, I just got a Kickstarter game called Anima, Gate of Memories. It has some problems, but it's overall enjoyable.
So what's that for? Is that PC or?
Yeah, PC. I think it's Windows only right now, but you can get it on Steam.
So is this one that you backed then?
Apparently, a couple years ago.
I don't remember that.
Just went through a days of kickstarting loads of stuff, and I can't remember what I did.
It was back then. When I was like, oh yeah, Kickstarter. Oh yeah, it's a store. I just buy stuff.
Yeah.
It'll get here.
And you just get it. You get it in like 3 years' time, but yeah.
It's like, oh, what is this?
When we did the Elysian Shadows issue last time with Falco and Patrick, I was looking on Kickstarter just to get some more information, and I didn't realise that I'd backed it like years ago. And it came up, in the side saying, "You have backed this game." I was like, "Did I? I don't remember that." But yeah, excellent. Okay, cheers for that, Spencer. Is that everything you've been really doing then on,
I've been trekking through Fire Emblem for a while, ever since it came out. I'm only on the latest one. There's like 3 campaigns.
Yeah.
I'm on the second one. I think I'm at the end, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and beat it.
What is that on GameCube?
That's 3D game.
Come on, Tom.
There is a version on GameCube.
Yeah, that's Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance. No, this is for 3DS.
Well, excuse my ignorance. I do apologise.
I know you're retro, Tom, but come on.
Excellent. All right, nice one. I'll just briefly go through what I've been doing. I've been playing, like Mike, again. We might be like linked.
I think we are.
Telekinetic link.
Yeah, I think we are.
I've been playing Doom. It's phenomenal.
Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. The last thing I heard from you on Doom was that you thought it was overhyped.
Wanted that Twitter attention.
Tom, did you rip and tear through the hype?
Nice. I played the first kind of 10 minutes of the demo and then carried on and thought, that's really good. And then I went and got the full game, played it, and I was just hooked. I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, like solid. And it's, when you're wrong about something, I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong about Doom. It's actually brilliant. So, yeah, it's great. And on the Dreamcast, I've been playing a game called Looney Tunes Space Race. I did an article about that recently. I think it's a really cool kart race. It looks amazing still.
It is great. My only snag was it was maybe a bit too easy, and it was kind of over quite quickly. But other than that,
my problem with it was the fact it was too random.
Oh, the weapons.
Yeah, the weapons. It's too random, and the amount of times I got to near the end and I got hit and finished
by a piano or something. Yeah. That is annoying, but if you've got the skills to pay the bills, then... Also, one other thing that I've attempted to play but haven't because I'm an idiot and I can't work out how to do it is Echo 2, Sentinels of the Universe, which was released mere days ago at the time of recording by The Hidden Palace. And this is obviously the unreleased sequel to Echo the Dolphin. And I can't
for the Dreamcast.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And on a dev kit.
So why can't you burn it?
Because I'm thick.
And you're on a Mac.
I should have asked really.
Well, no, you download the zip file, and it's just got like loads of random files in it, and there's not like one CDI that you can burn. So you have to mess about a bit. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit.
I'll
just wait. Someone clever will do it for us.
I think someone has made a CDI file, haven't they?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure I've downloaded it.
Maybe I'm looking at I may be looking at the wrong.
I'm looking at the article right now, and you say go here to download the self boot CDI. Fucking now. Amazing. That's what you wrote, Tom.
Wow.
I didn't add anything to that.
I'll be sure to edit this out.
He's called you out.
Anyway, let's move on to our main...
So I guess this is my only podcast, isn't it?
Nice knowing you, Spencer.
It's been fun, guys. Good luck on your podcast. I would have liked to continue.
No. I'll go back and take my own advice.
Such
and see
a
if I can
nice man, this man.
All right, guys. After the break, we're going to come back and we're going to enter the main event, no pun intended, and talk about Dreamcast fighting games.
Welcome back to the DreamPod, episode 34, Fighting Games Special.
We're back. We're going to talk about the fighting games on the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast is, as well as shmups, it's also synonymous with fighting games, I find. And we're not going to have another, no, it's not, are we? Because at the end of the day, it's got some of the best fighting games ever made on the system, not just 2D, 3D, some other ones as well, different kinds of sporting fighting games. I did ask Mr. Ross O'Reilly, situated in Japan, to come up with a list of all the fighting games, and he did. He obliged. He did actually throw in more than a couple of games that I wouldn't actually class as fighting games.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is Ross's fighting game classification?
I wanted to close all possible places where people could have come in and said, "Oh, you forgot this one. So I probably expanded the definition of fighting
basically
game.
Any game where you end up decking someone.
Pretty much, it looks that way. Yeah. Was this kind of like preempting somebody on Reddit saying, "Oh, you forgot that one or this one"?
No, this was boredom.
Boredom from lack of people doing that.
Pure boredom. That's what the entire website is really fueled by, to be honest. Pure and utter boredom.
8 sad men and their boredom. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We've got a very comprehensive list. I'm going to go through them all now. They are separated into different categories. So we've got 3D fighters, we've got 2D fighters, we've got wrestling games and other sports, beat 'em ups. For some reason, Who Wants to Be A? And Smash Pack and other indie games are also involved. The way this is going to work as well is that if you listen to the Shmup episode, what we did was we went around the table and we all chose to speak about a game in succession. So we had our our honourable mention games, then we had our least favourite game, and then we had our favourite. So we ended on a high point. And we're going to do the same again here because it kind of worked last time. So hopefully this won't be a complete car crash. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reel off all of the fighting or not fighting games, as the case may be, that Ross has provided me with. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, 3D fighting games. We have Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Fighting Vipers 2, Power Stone 1 and 2, Dead or Alive 2, Dead or Alive 2 Limited Edition, Star Gladiator / Plasma Sword, Tech Romancer, Heavy Metal Geomatrix, Spawn, Project Justice, Mortal Kombat Gold, Psychic Force 2012, Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, Treasure Strike, Balder Force, Ooga Booga, Mobile Suit Gundam, Federation vs. Zion. Then we've got 2D games, which are King of Fighters 99 Dream Match, King of Fighters series from 1998 to 2002, Last Blade, Garou Mark of the Wolves, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter Alpha 3 with matching service, Street Fighter 3 Double Impact, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 2 X, the Grandmaster Challenge for matching service, Capcom vs SNK, Capcom vs SNK Pro. Jesus, Ross.
You get to the point in the list yet where you're thinking, what was I thinking? Doing this. Yeah. You're going to be there soon if you're not.
Capcom vs SNK 2 Millionaire Fight in 2001, Marvel vs Capcom, Marvel vs Capcom 2, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Guilty Gear X, Vampire Chronicles for matching service. Next, we've got wrestling and other sports.
Does anyone have any qualms with anything so far? I think maybe, Balder Force shouldn't be.
Some of the pronunciations.
Yeah, that's always the case with.
I am from Manchester, not Tokyo, so I do apologize.
Xeon. Garou. I just want to say real quick, Project Justice is also known as the sequel to Rival Schools. United by Fate.
Or Justice Gawkin.
Which, for some reason, they just dropped the Rival Schools, but it is the sequel.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah. Okay, moving on, we've got wrestling and other sports. So we've got Ultimate Fighting Championship, Ready to Rumble 1 and 2, WWF Attitude, WWF Royal Rumble, ECW Anarchy Rules, and also ECW, what was the other one?
Hardcore Revolution.
That's the one, Hardcore Revolution. We've got Giant Gram 2, Giant Gram 2000, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Token Retsuden 4, Fire Pro Wrestling D, NHL 2K, NHL 2K2, Ross.
Because your players do fight in this. They get into a little fight and you have a little one-on-one fighting match.
Okay, beat 'em ups, we've got Fighting Force 2, Soul Fighter, Sword of the Berserk, Dynamite Cop 2, Zombie Revenge, Shenmue and Shenmue 2 for some reason, Dracona's Cult of the Worm, Rent a Hero number 1, Urban Chaos, Spider-Man, Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire?
Its own category.
Yeah, well, where else?
Nothing quite like it.
We've also got Smash Pack with Altered Beast, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2 and Wrestle War, and then we've got the indie games. We've got Bleem for Tekken 3, Beats of Rage, and Dead or Alive 2 Final, which came out last year.
Oh.
Gentlemen, that's quite a comprehensive list, and I would like to also say that there's a vast majority of those that I wouldn't actually class as fighting games, but they're in there anyway, just for the hell of it.
Like half the console's library.
Pretty much, yeah. Let's kick things off and let's talk about our second favourite, our honourable mention fighting games. And I'm going to go in the same order as we went last time.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with you, Caleb. What's your honourable mention?
I gotta say that even though, I'm not good at any fighting games except for Soul Calibur, but I gotta say that Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Just because I've had so much fun with it. Even though, you can go into that game and it's just a lot of, you can try to mash it out. Just, it's just one of those games where it's just the amount of characters and just there's some that are just, I don't know. It's a situation where I'm not a professional, but it seems like this is just one of the ones where there's just so many people had fun with it when we played it on tournaments. It had to be my, it had to be my second favorite.
I'll go into more detail about some of the things that Caleb touched on when it gets to me. Not that I'm any better possibly at fighting games. It's just I've been kind of deeply involved in the community and stuff like that. And it seems that I don't want to call you guys like surface level scrubs or anything, but
no, dude, I am. I'm one of those dudes who takes a look at the. I'm one of the dudes who links the Pringles video for Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well, that's a classic.
That's just that's what I like.
I was gonna say I have 5 videos that I can just link you, and you'll just be like, these are great.
Yeah, no, I like stuff
colors.
like that. I like when there's a lot of shit talking, and I like when a lot of people are having fun during the tournaments and stuff. But I'm certainly not. I am a scrub lord through and through.
Just at this point, I want to say that if somebody does choose a game that you think is like the worst or your favorite, you don't have to change it. Just extol the virtues of the game when it gets to your point. Yeah, when it gets to your.
So
your
with 7 people, there's no way we can have 21 unique games.
No, we must become a hive mind.
As far as I'm concerned, there is probably 21 games on here I'd list as really good, at least.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Gagaman, we'll come to you next, and we'll ask for your honourable mention.
For the longest time, I would have said Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I think it got edged out a couple of years ago by Capcom vs. SNK 2.
That's a solid game.
I kind of like the presentation of the first game more, but there's just so much choice in that game. Not even just all the characters, but there's 6 different ways of playing every character.
It's all the supers and grooves from previous games.
It's ridiculous. There's just so much to that game.
There's third strike parries and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can put a third strike mode on. You can put a samurai showdown mode on where you go red after a while. You can put a King of Fighters style and Street Fighter 2 style, and I think Alpha styles in there. And it's just full of modes. It's got all those different survival modes. It's got the survival all mode and the survival set order mode, and there's just so much to that game.
Does the Dreamcast have the character edit mode?
Yes, yeah, you can tweak the
you can
color
put
schemes
colors
as well.
and all this other stuff.
I quite like just making silhouette characters, just making them completely dark. It's quite fun to do.
It'd be like Guilty Gear with their black characters.
Yeah, so I may as well jump in now and say that was my choice for the second game as well. And you pretty much covered everything there: the isms, the characters, the 3D stages look really cool. There's some nice cameos from other Capcom characters. Great game, yeah.
And the Morgan sprite.
Oh, that Morgan sprite is ugly.
Oh, it's the best thing. It hasn't been redrawn since the first game.
Yeah, Morgan. It's like an in-joke at this point.
Oh, when she was announced for Marvel 3, we just wanted the sprite.
Where's the dog? Who's got the dog?
That's me again.
Euphanize it.
Whoa!
Harsh. I think she stopped.
Tolerance.
I think she stopped.
Okay, cool. All right. Cheers for that, Aaron. That was a great choice. Rob, I'm going to come to you next.
Yeah, sure. My honourable mention, literally because, 1, I'm a huge boxing fanatic, and 2, it's just so much fun to play, is Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Blimey. Quite surprised, actually.
I'm thinking of Dreamcast, and people know that I love my fighting games, but there's nothing particularly fancy or arty about this one, or particularly there's no real super depth in terms of its mechanics. But that's its beauty. It's a bit like Marvel versus Capcom in this regard, that you can just pick up and play it, even if you're not into your boxing. That's got the big cartoony art style, cool animation. It's really easy to play, and every time we've run an event with the Junkyard, stick on Ready to Rumble Boxing, and I'm not joking, people just love it. They immediately get it. It's very simple. It's very visceral.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason it was a big deal when the Dreamcast launched. It was one of the games everyone was talking about, really.
Yeah, I can't speak for other territories, but I know that when I see Ready to Rumble Boxing, I immediately think of the Dreamcast. That was almost on every magazine advertisement.
Yeah, exactly. That was the big deal, wasn't it?
Just to pick up on something that you said there, Rob, it's totally true. Every time we've done an event, certainly at Play Manchester last year, when we put it on the big screen, and this crowd just descended because they were like, "Oh, what's that? It's Ready to Rumble!" Everyone was just like, "Whoa." And then last month at Southampton, we did another event, and again, it's just so easy. People who were not even interested, the parents were coming along and playing the game because they they just thought it looked intriguing, and then 10 minutes later they're still there playing like mums and dads against each other and that kind of thing.
Oh, it's definitely got that accessibility.
Oh yeah,
and also I would just like to say one more thing on this is that it's as Aaron says, or Spencer. I'm sorry, I forget who mentioned it. That they associate it with the Dreamcast. It wasn't a Dreamcast exclusive, but I also kind of picked this here because in my mind, it was a Dreamcast exclusive.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know it was available for other consoles.
Yeah, I think it was just ported to the other consoles. I think it started as a Dreamcast game. Because when you look at like the PS1 and N64 versions, they look horrendous. You can tell they were just sort of rushed out the door in comparison.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my choice.
Boris all the way, right?
Boris the Bear. The Bear.
Afro Thunder.
Yeah.
Afro Thunder.
I'm going to come to you next, Mike. Most honourable mention?
So I've had difficulty picking this because I'm not really a fighting game fan.
Okay.
At all. So I'm just going to put on what looks good. No, Vampire Chronicle.
Fair enough.
I like Vampire Chronicle. I like Darkstalkers games.
Nice.
I like the sort of atmosphere and mood of it. And it's a good game. It's good.
Bloody good animation.
Good compilation, as it were, on the Dreamcast. I had the Saturn versions, or the first one and third one. Is it on Saturn?
Didn't I get that off you, Aaron?
Yeah, you did.
I did, for the Saturn. Yeah.
I have all the Japanese versions because the US versions are so expensive for the Saturn. I believe I have the Japanese matching service for the Dreamcast, and then I have all the Japanese versions for the second one and the third one, I think, for the Saturn.
Yeah, I like how the Dreamcast one actually mixed everything from every previous version. You could pick like all the different styles of how they tweaked the characters in each installment, and they actually let you mix it all up. It was quite nice.
I think it's a really good concept, the entire sort of series. The big sort of horror icons.
I don't know how they would go about it, but I'd really like to see them try and do a new one, but I don't know if they'd be able to pull it off in 3D because the animation's just so surreal and there's just so much like clever stuff that you probably still wouldn't be able to do easily in 3D animation.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think it's that kind of thing where fighters are sort of just one type of, I know Guilty Gear sort of a little bit, but it's like just one whole horror theme. Just to me, it's
exactly
awesome.
Sort of really unique look to it.
Yeah,
nice,
good choice.
Good choice.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, onwards, Spencer.
Yeah,
enlighten us. Your most honourable mention.
Garou, Mark of the Wolves.
Ooh,
okay,
excellent choice.
Top choice.
All right,
excellent.
Yeah, I feel that this game does not get the love it deserves.
See, I've got the US version, and people tell me that is that the American version is called Fatal Fury, Mark of the Wolves.
Yes.
I'm told that's not as good as the Japanese version. Is that correct?
Yeah, so have I.
I'm trying to think. I think I've only ever played the Japanese version.
Okay.
If it's anything like Last Blade 2, it might have some censorship, but I don't think it has as much.
I know that instead of a Cushwood butt, it's like Marco Rodriguez.
It's a change for the worse. The original name is the better name.
Just real quick though, like the game is beautiful. I feel like I think it's like
Totally.
SNK sprites at some of their best.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And like the game, like it feels good, and it's not like a real combo heavy game. Like it's a lot of like 1 to 2 hits. Like there are some combos, but they're like pretty advanced to pull off.
It's quite a subtle fighting game. It isn't as flashy as some of the others, but like
Right.
There's a lot of depth to it.
I think it's the Rock Howard stage has like some of the best background art and music I think in any fighter ever.
Can you explain that? What is the back? I mean, what is the setting?
It's just like I would almost say like a 50s drive-in type thing.
Right,
if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these 2D games do have amazing backgrounds that you don't really
Especially
notice.
SNK ones. Like SNK ones
Yeah,
are
like,
amazing.
there's
for
nothing
it.
too complex. It's just really well done.
What is the one with the Japanese bamboo water pipe? It just all of a sudden it goes clunk every once in a while.
Oh, that's Last Blade.
Yeah, Last Blade.
Yeah, I think it was
Sounds like Last Blade.
Yeah, I mean, because when I do these, when I do the header images for the Dreamcast Junkyard for the blog, I'm always looking for like interesting things to use, and some of the best have got to be the SNK backgrounds for the fighting games.
They were the creme de la creme. They are they're like the F1. They're the top dogs in terms of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cannot talk highly enough about the background art of peak SNK.
Excellent. So, Mark of the Wolves then for you, Spencer, yeah?
Yeah, and it's just a great game. play it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like I say, I've got the American version, and it's fantastic. It's really hard though.
And the stage select music. It's like da 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 da. It's so bad, but it's so great. we bash it out every single time.
I want a mod of this game now where we replace that tune with your version of it just then.
I kind of also want Terry Bogart's Buster Wolf sample for like a text message ringtone or something.
That wouldn't get annoying.
Right, shut up, I'm looking. Excellent, brilliant choices there. I'm just going to briefly touch on mine. My honourable mention has got to go to probably a game that I'm not going to make any assumptions, but I'm guessing this might be Rob's favourite. But mine is Guilty Gear X.
Ah.
The reason for this is because I'm not, like Caleb and a couple of other guys here, I'm not a hardcore fan of fighting games, but Guilty Gear X does it for me because it just looks amazing. It looks like a playable cartoon, and going again to the events that we've done, more than any other game that I've ever put on a VGA monitor, Guilty Gear X looks unbelievable. It's as if it was actually made for a VGA screen because there's no pixelation, there's no, it just looks incredible. I mean, not only does it look incredible, it plays really well as well. But I mean, for a novice to get into a 2D, like what is considered to be quite a high-end 2D fighting game is, for me anyway, it's quite unheard of. But I love it. I love the stages. I love the characters. I love the story. Do you know what I mean? It's just
the very best name in all video games. Soul Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
I love as well. I love the verticality of the fights because you can just keep hitting up the screen. Up,
Yeah.
And there's even more background art, that you don't see unless you get to those upper echelons of the stage.
You to get up there.
Yes. Yeah. I remember. Caleb, don't you have the? Is it the one with the music CD, the little shaped disc?
Yeah. I've been afraid to try to play that in any of my players.
Yeah, same here. I haven't even dared.
Well, in case it comes off the main spindle and flies out the side of the machine or something.
Yeah, knowing my luck, that's exactly what would happen.
Okay,
hold on. I just want to touch real quick the subtitle: Guilty Gear X by your side, G Gear. God, it's so good.
Everything in that game is kind of gibberish. Even just starting a fight, they don't just say "get ready, fight." They have
heaven or hell,
let's rock, and all this stuff.
Yeah, Duel 1, let's rock.
The whole series is gibberish, and I kind of love it for that.
And they just have random English words written on their outfit.
Yeah.
Soul Bad Guys, one of them just says free.
Even the latest one is called Guilty Gear Exert
it's even worse.
or something. It's not even
Exert Revelator.
Yeah, it's not even a bloody word. It's just
both of them are fake.
Put your hand in a bag full of random made up words and just pull things out and put them together. There you go. That's the new title.
Yeah, as we've discussed, it is fabulous. But I also almost see it as a sort of almost as a dive kick style parody. There is certainly a dose of parody in that game, I think, and I think that does come across in just the absolute gibberish.
I think it was made as almost like a rebellion against Street Fighter and stuff like that. They were really trying to find something different.
I mean, to me, the butt rock just tells it.
Yep. It's so in your face.
The game it reminds me most of it tonally is Waku Waku 7, which again is a complete ridiculous parody of the fighting genre. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, cool. Guys, we've mentioned our honourable mentions, and that is a stunning selection of games. I must say, if anybody had those on their shelf, I'm sure they would. They'd be in the seventh heaven. But we've not even got to our favourites yet. What we're going to talk about next, in the next section, is the worst, not the cream, the rotten, mouldy bottom of the Dreamcast fighting pantheon, shall we say. After this.
DreamPod, episode 34, fighting game special. Least favorite fighting game.
Welcome back. Now, we've talked about our second favourite fighting games, and now we're going to lower the tone slightly. We're going to talk about the ones that we're not too keen on for whatever reason. This is all obviously down to our own personal choices, so don't start hitting the comments on Reddit and whatever and telling us that we're all complete dickheads.
No, please do.
Ross's email address is Ross. Okay. let's talk about our least favorite fighting games on the Dreamcast. Caleb, I'm going to come to you again first.
This is absolutely a personal choice. And I know that, like, you know, I don't really come up with the most technical or sound reasonings of why I choose the ones that I choose. But this one is just because this is a game that I played that I thought had so much potential, and then for whatever reason, it just did not personally click with me.
Okay.
Plasma Sword, Nightmare of
I was
Bilston.
thinking of choosing that one. I didn't choose it in the end, but I was thinking about it.
That is a game that it looked cool.
I don't actually blame you for that one.
Yeah, it's the character design looked kind of cool. It was, but like they were weirdly sized.
Yeah,
and it just didn't. The plasma system of getting up the gauge and trying to get like the big blast, it's just there was a little bit there, but for whatever reason, it just did not click with me.
I must admit, for me, I found it a bit disappointing as well.
Is this this is the sequel to PlayStation 1 game?
That's the sequel to I believe Star
Gladiator.
Star something?
Star Gladiator.
Star Gladiator, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very basic, I find, certainly in the looks department. And
it was a PS1 game in the arcades to start with, and then just sort of upscaled.
Yeah. Anybody else got any thoughts on?
No, I agree. I was going to choose it myself.
Remember, I can't like you hit characters up like super high.
Yeah. There's certain things.
I thought that was super weird.
Yeah. The also there was like this weird like alternate costume thing where it was supposed to be, I don't remember if it was supposed to be just an alternate costume or different. I think it was supposed to be a different character because they had different moves.
They basically doubled the character roster, but every other character is identical. They're just like remodeled or something.
And it's like it is slightly different like special moves and stuff.
Like, this game's got 24 characters. No, it's actually only got 12.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's just one of those ones where it's just it was a personal, because I bought it when the store Sears, I'm sorry, not Sears, when the store Ames went out of business. I ended up buying I ended up grabbing like 60 Game Gear games, and I ended up grabbing the couple Dreamcast games that were left, and basically I grabbed them all, and it is what it is. Like it wasn't worth the $10 that I paid for it then.
Yeah, I had been really looking forward to it because it was one of the few games I hadn't played until recently, the last few years. And I bought it and was just totally disappointed as well. And I even wondered why did they even bother porting this game? It's like really not many redeeming features whatsoever. But in the arcades it was on the ZN or ZN2 hardware. So
wasn't that based on PlayStation?
It was, and it was the same one that Rival Schools 2 and Techromancer came out, so they probably did.
Yeah.
They already had done the groundwork or whatever. And there weren't many games on the system, so it's
because
just
Techromancer is actually brilliant. I actually really like that game.
Yeah,
so that's a case of a game that was from like PlayStation style hardware that was actually still really good. But in the case of Plasma Sword, I just don't think there was much depth to it, and it just doesn't really.
Yeah, I figure they probably they planned to make the other two, and they were like, okay, we've done all the hard work porting these two games. What else can we bring from there to Dreamcast? Seeing now to do it.
So, Plasma Sword, that's the first one on the board. Let's move on. Aaron?
I actually had quite a hard time thinking of an absolute worst. I'm just going by the ones I own because I don't own everything on this list. But I guess the one I had to pick, I suppose, was Mortal Kombat Gold.
Oh, okay, yeah, because in Mortal Kombat Gold, it's just Mortal Kombat 4, isn't it? But res shot slightly.
And one, it's not even as good as the original Mortal Kombats, which were not that brilliant to start with. They were, they were amusing. They were quite fun to mess around in, but they weren't like, it's not something I'd actually try and seriously get good at or anything. It was quite fun, but 4 or Gold, I just don't know what went wrong with this one. It was just really clunky, and I think the biggest problem with it is the way the game just stutters a lot. Like every time you do I think you always have to fight against 2 or 3 people, and every time you kill them and they just sort of decapitate, the game pauses for a solid second before the next character jumps in, and you just get a still shot of their head and their body just cheesily exploding. That's the other thing. The violence in it isn't anywhere near as like the old ones were, but not in a good way. It just looks really tacky, and it just didn't feel right, and it's really stiff, and just...
There's some things like you can pick up things off the ground and throw them, or weapons and things, and it just seemed like really forced.
Yeah, it was really naff.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the point where they just run out of ideas for Mortal Kombat. I think they should have just left it at trilogy and been done with it. But, you know, they brought it back round recently. The more recent ones, they've clearly rebooted it in a good way. But, like, for the longest time, Mortal Kombat was a bit of a joke, really, starting from 4, I think.
I think what I would have liked to have seen in place of Mortal Kombat Gold would have been a really good arcade perfect version of like Mortal Kombat 3 or something. You know, like a really good like 2D version.
A good version of Trilogy, which was on the Saturn, like another version of that, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Excellent. Okay, cool. All right, Rob, what about you?
Okay, this is interesting. I actually don't own what I'm about to talk about, but I do own it on a different platform. So please pick me up if there's some market changes on the ports. But of course, it has to be the King of Fighters 2001.
Yeah.
I'm huge into the King of Fighters series, and I've played a lot of them. And it hurts, really. It's incredibly disappointing. It all comes off the back of SNK's bankruptcy.
Rob, I was going to ask, is this to do with because it went to Playmore?
No. It's not. Yeah, Playmore are the people who publish it. The problem is that it goes to Eolith, which I think are a South Korean developer. And basically, it's, here you are, Eolith. You've got no experience at all with this. Here's some of the existing animation. Produce a new King of Fighters. And the music and the sound effects aren't up to scratch. The background art is appalling.
The character art is embarrassing.
The character art is embarrassing.
Yeah,
you're right.
Now, guys, let me just clarify this. Is this the one with the purple cover with the girl kind of like
2000 has the purple girl?
Okay, so that's 2000.
That's Kula Diamond. Yeah.
All right, sorry, I don't think I've played 2001 then. But yeah, sorry, continue, Rob.
I don't know what it's like on the. I've got it on MVS, and the cover on that, everyone's sort of dressed in sort of 90s black leather. It's all a bit. Yeah, like you've walked into some kinky club or something. But yeah, like what Aaron says, like the characters move, and just when they're stationary, they're almost like distorted. The mechanics are still there, and at first glance, because they basically ripped all the animations from 2000, it still kind of looks right. But when you play it, like it is a shadow.
Definitely feels off. Really off.
It's off. Yeah, you're right. It's just off. And I presume that the Dreamcast version plays and looks the same.
I'd say out of all the King of Fighters on Dreamcast, it's definitely the one that stands out as a bit, we kind of rushed this and didn't really put much love into it.
Yeah, and it hurts because King of Fighters was, specifically then, such a prestigious and well-loved fighting franchise. And to see it brought low in such a way, it really does hurt. So yeah. I vote for the King of Fighters 2001 as the worst fighter on Dreamcast.
I'd heard that people didn't particularly like the later 2002 and 2000 games on the Dreamcast.
I think 2002 is actually quite well received. They even remade that at some point.
Oh yeah, 2002.
Yeah,
totally.
That one's really popular. Yeah. They turned it right round on the next year. So.
I might actually invest in a copy of 2001 just to see how bad it is.
It must be dirt cheap.
You can't tell just from looking at it how bad it is. You have to
spend time.
Yeah, you have to have played other King of Fighters as well to really get a good idea of how much of a step down that is as well. I'd say so.
There's what is it called? 98 Dream Match Never Ends on Dreamcast. Go play the 98 port.
Yeah, that's probably my favourite on the system.
Well, it's called 99 on the Dreamcast.
99 Dream Match,
99 Dream Match.
So there's 99 Dream Match, and then there's 99 Evolution. It's confusing.
I did a thing recently where I used the SNK Neo Geo Pocket cable to see what happened with what you could do with the game. So yeah, I've got both those games, and I'll maybe look at getting 2001 just to see how bad it is. Let's move on to the next in the shit games category. That would be Ross.
Yeah. Okay. So I had two choices. I just really struggled to choose between. One is the Tekken 3 Bleen, because the technical achievement is huge, but this game, like a lot of Dreamcast fans have like bigged this up as if it's the emulation's perfect, it's better than playing on the original PlayStation, and yeah, the resolution is higher, and they've used some technique to like smooth out the jaggies and stuff, but it's choppy, it stutters, there's glitching, it's like definitely not the definitive version to play. Just play it on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
The second game was Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Zero, because it is just awful.
Really?
I originally played it on Naomi, and it's like slow and clunky.
Huh. I'm quite surprised by that because I actually quite enjoyed it.
We're definitely talking about the same.
Is it the one that was actually developed by Capcom but was published by Bandai?
Yes,
yeah,
that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed it because it.
Oh no, I thought it was rubbish.
I don't know.
I thought it was. I'm not a Gundam fan, so for starters, the link to Gundam means nothing to me.
No,
but just for the
same here,
game,
really.
the actual gameplay, it was just slow. The graphics looked like a bad PS1 title.
Is it a one-on-one fighting game, or is it like a 3D mech?
2-on-2 3D. It's kind of like Power Stone or Power Stone cross with Virtual or something like that. I just thought it was terrible.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's not what I'm familiar with, but all those Gundam games are much of a muchness for me because obviously they never came out in the UK. So,
well, I like Side Story. Side Story is really good.
Gundam is like one of those weird kind of mystical things that I'm aware of, but don't actually have any knowledge of. And it looks really cool, but because it's so hard to kind of get involved with because a lot of it wasn't actually translated to English, it's kind of...
And there's about 600 series.
Are you talking about from the game perspective or from like the animes?
Everything, really. Just the whole...
Just it in general. It's a whole culture, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole thing, really.
Well, all I can say is I definitely didn't start with the original. I started probably with Gundam Wing because that's the first thing that was aired back on what we had was Toonami.
Yep, same here. Yeah.
And then you just kind of go and explore from there.
Thanks for that, Ross. Mike, let's move on to you. What's your least favourite Dreamcast fighting game?
I had two choices. One's been stolen, so I'm going to leave that.
You can basically mention it anyway.
Well, Mortal Kombat Gold. I can't stand that game. That is just... It's just
Don't mince your
terrible.
words, mate. Don't mince your words.
It is literally like... It is like pulling teeth. It's one of the most excruciating... I hate Mortal Kombat anyway, but it's just terrible. But the game I'm going to pick is going to get me a lot of hate mail. But the reason is that it's from a post I saw from a fanboy on a site the other day, where they said that this fighting element of this game was one of the best examples on the Dreamcast of the actual genre. And when I actually looked at the comments that were being made by other people on the same bit, it was amazing. They were saying it was an incredible sort of achievement. And that game is Shenmue.
Sorry, what? Shenmue?
The fighting sections of Shenmue are terrible.
Oh, come on.
What was the choice? Just out of curiosity? I couldn't listen to that.
Mike just dropped a bombshell.
I did. I thought I'd take some of the hate away from Ross, because he gets a lot of it. So I thought, let's get some myself.
It's certainly not the greatest fighting mechanics in the world.
I think what you're saying here is that it was actually marketed as the Virtua Fighter RPG, and then when it actually came out, it wasn't anything like
that. Part isn't that bad.
Okay.
Everyone knew it was going to be. Everyone knew it was going to be a little bit less.
You're talking about the
fighting
mechanics in Shenmue.
Yeah,
I am.
Okay.
But it's not even that. It's more a sort of a reaction against people who blindly follow certain games, because there are so many people who are... I love Shenmue. I put out now. I absolutely adore Shenmue. But the fighting sections...
They are a little bit clunky.
They are. It's just clunky, and it's just... It seems to be that there are some websites out there who actually are saying that the Shenmue fighting mechanics are, the pinnacle.
They improved them in 2. 2 felt more like Virtua Fighter.
2's better.
1 was where... I think the main problem was the fact that you could move anywhere, and like the camera didn't really know what to do, and your position... You'd like lock into an enemy, but then it would sort of lock onto someone else, and you'd get a little bit confused as to who you're hitting.
My enduring memory of the fighting sections of Shenmue are kind of like it's kind of right near the end of the game where you get set upon by about 50 different blokes, and you have to kick ass. In that, is it in the docks or something?
Yeah,
and,
right. At the end.
It was just, it was just really clunky and like went on for far too long, and it's like fucking hell, still fighting these people. Why don't they just attack me all at once rather than lining up?
It does help you train up all the moves in that as well, because if you don't go to the effort to like grind for like go in a parking lot and grind some of the moves out and like upgrade them, it does feel even clunkier if you don't go to that effort to sit there and
I did.
I didn't do
that's
what I mean. It takes quite a bit. It's quite tedious to have to do all that.
Why do that when I can play hang-ons?
Yeah.
I would suggest that, it is clunky, but if you do level it up, then that's the way to go. But as he says, it's so tedious. Like, who just wants to spend all this time practicing in that abandoned car park, which is just, it's just horrible. It's just like three grey walls, and you're just going over these moves over and over and over and over again, and it gets incredibly annoying.
Let's put it back into perspective, though. I mean, Shenmue isn't really a fighting game, is it? I mean, I know I can see your frustration with that particular aspect of the game, but it's not a fighting game. It was never really.
It's not frustration with the fighting element that is my problem. My problem is that there are people who actually will list Shenmue as one of the greatest fighting games on Dreamcast.
And these people, I know what you mean. It is actually my favorite game. It is my favorite game on Dreamcast. But I can see, and I do enjoy the battle system. I don't think it's perfect. No. I can see you've got your points. There are problems with it. But I see what you mean. There are a lot of the biggest fanboys of retro things, whether it's Project Dream guys about Dreamcast or Shenmue guys. I don't think any of them.
Not going there. Don't open
that can.
I think a lot of them. Sorry, not all of them, but I think a lot of them haven't touched a Dreamcast in 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I totally agree.
They've got these rose tinted specs, and that's why they remember it's perfect and being fantastic, and they haven't even touched Dreamcast in 15 years, so that's why they.
The one thing I would say, sort of a plus point for that mechanic system, is that I always enjoyed sort of the depth of real martial arts moves. If you understand, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seemed more grounded in. I'm not a fighter myself, so I don't know. But it just seemed more grounded in the real world instead of.
I don't know, Rob. That time when you were outside that pub having that fight with that bloke after 3 pints, it looked like you were a fighter.
Yeah, I had to bust some wolves then. I tell you.
Learn it all from Shenmue.
The thing, just on the last point on this subject is. How much of the Virtua Fighter engine is actually in Shenmue?
I don't think it's any. I think it's this brand new engine, isn't it?
I don't think there's much of it in the first game, but in the second game, I think they definitely used a bit of Virtua Fighter in the one-on-one fights. You definitely feel it. Some of the characters are straight-up Virtua Fighter characters. There's a woman in it who basically has the entire moveset of Sarah. There's another one that has all the moves of Kage, and
Okay.
The thing is, probably the problem is I don't like Virtua Fighter either.
No, Free TB is not as. I don't think it's as good, but
I think that's the weakest one.
I don't know. I mean, I was playing it the other day. I don't think we've not really spoken about Virtua Fighter at all yet. But I mean, I quite like it. I played it again the other day, and I didn't realise. I kind of forgot or glossed over how technical it actually is with the dodging.
Yeah.
When you discover that dodge button and you can kind of get out of the way of kicks and punches, it becomes a completely different game. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people realise about how
it is
technical
actually deceptively
the game
deep. You can just mash buttons in that and probably win, but that's not really because that's the way the game works. But
it only takes a couple of hits and a kick to win a round. And if you master the reversals and the dodge mechanic, it becomes a different game.
Yeah,
it's
that's
brilliant.
kind of how it's meant to be played, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I got told off last time for mentioning a Dreamcast family game. If we're allowed to mention Dreamcast family games, and
no, Ross, you're not. No, stop now.
Somewhere
Dreamcast
today.
family.
What? Sorry, what would you have chosen? Sorry.
I might have chosen Virtua Fighter 4 in there somewhere because it was on the Now We Do. Sorry, not for this category of the worst game. I probably in the special mention I might have chosen it, but actually,
it's not on the Dreamcast.
Naomi 2, so it wouldn't even run on the Dreamcast.
Anyway, gentlemen, let's move on. Spencer, what's your least favourite fighting game on the Dreamcast?
I'm going to say Mortal Kombat Gold.
Okay.
For all the reasons above. And then just because it was on here, Sword of the Berserk, because that is not a fighting game.
I agree. Ross,
that is a one person,
clang
one
your
player,
sword against a wall
third
simulator.
person hack and slash.
King, 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 king. These corridors are too narrow. I can't hit anything. Ting, ting.
Yeah, but you do have a main baddie called Ballsack.
Yeah, that's that. It's got
one redeeming feature.
And 6-hour cutscenes.
Yeah, I think the entire game's a cutscene, really, isn't it?
For the most part,
it's like a Kojima game.
Oh,
I'm not wrong.
Stranding.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that.
What are those 5 guys up there?
I would just like to tell our listeners that I love Sword of the Berserk very much.
Oh, I do too. It's not a fighting game.
I don't think it's a bad game.
It's not
that was the subsection I chose as beat 'em ups.
Like belt scrollers
there was also
kind of
Soul
thing.
Fighter in there, and Dynamite Cop and Zombie and stuff like that. So
and Spider-Man.
You could have also put Soul Reaver in there. I was trying to.
Once again, I'd like to say that anybody listening to this who has any issues with the selection can also, find Ross on the Facebook group
and badger him.
Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Okay, I'm going to briefly talk about my least favourite, and that is it's a game called Psychic Force 2012.
Yeah.
Hate that game.
This game is an absolute dog's dinner.
It's definitely another case like Plasma Sword where the concept's good, but it just doesn't. There's just not enough there. They came up with a unique idea and then just kind of went, well, now what? I don't know. They just sort of throw stuff at each other.
Yeah, so basically the premise is that you're not actually standing on level ground and fighting like you do in a lot of the other fighting games. You're actually floating in this massive rotating cuboid,
Yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of a game on the N64 called Biofreaks, which was an absolute mess as well. I played it earlier on today just to remind myself how bad it is, and
again,
you just kind of float around. You float around trying to kick and punch each other, but not being able to actually get near each other because you can just kind of move away. So then it just descends into this kind of battle where you just use the projectiles to shoot each other
bounce them off
from
the walls
the other
for
end
ages.
of it. Yeah, it's crap.
Funnily enough,
also
that game's
crap.
also a sequel to a PlayStation 1 game. I think these are all like sequels to like the experimental 32-bit era where they were trying all kind of weird stuff that didn't necessarily work.
Is it Psychic Force 2011?
No, I think it's just called Psychic.
No.
I think it's literally just called Psychic Force. Yeah.
It's funny though because I don't remember in 2012 seeing anybody like fighting in a big rotating cube in the sky.
It's funny, but there's a game on. It was in the arcades. It's on Saturn as well, made by Sunsoft, called Astra Superstars, and that's a similar concept, but it's
done well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
It's actually, it's not like one of the best fighting games ever made, but it's actually really
yeah. It's kind of like a follow up to Waku Waku 7, isn't it?
The concept is sound. You know what I mean? You fight in a rotating cube. It's quite it's quite interesting, but in actuality, it's really really shit.
I remember that being one of the first Dreamcast games I rented. I used to have a guy that would come around to my house and he would just have like a box with like a couple games in. He'd be like, "Oh, which one do you want to rent this week?" And I'll pick that.
Rent?
Yeah, rental.
How much did you pay?
I can't remember. That was back in like 2000.
A guy used to come round to the house with a box. Was he a smackhead? Mate, I got this fucking sweet game called fucking Psychic Force. You're all flying around and shit, mate. And you'll love it, man.
It was literally a case of just picking games based on their box art, and that one had like anime characters on the cover, and it was either that or, I don't know, some football games. I just picked that one week.
You make a good point. I mean, some of the artwork is really good, but it's just in execution, it's terrible. I just think it's crap myself.
You can actually sort of technically make that game work with a fishing controller if you tinker with the controls a little bit, and you can sort of like swing to throw projectiles, but that's about the only amusement I got out of it.
Interesting, that's cool. We'll touch on that in the next segment, I think. Okay, we've talked about our honourable mentions and we've talked about our least favourite. The least favourites are games. Maybe if you've got them on your shelf, you might want to have a quick word with yourself and get rid of them. But
come back.
Apart from Shenmue.
Apart from Shenmue, obviously, yeah. But what we'll do is we'll move on. We'll be back after this.
A sneaky surprise attack at the start of the second round.
I can't believe it's about to happen.
Try to treat me like greater than toast me impossible. I cut a sucker in small talks, make more rhymes than Michael Jordan makes slam dunk alone.
DreamPod, episode 34, Heaven or Hell, make your choice. Favorite fighting game on the Sega Dreamcast.
Okay, we're back, and we're now going to talk about our favourite fighting games. We've talked about the shit, and we've talked about the honourable mentions, but now we're talking about the real deal, cream of the crop stuff. Hopefully, we're not all going to talk about the same game.
I've got a feeling we are.
Okay, let's crack on. Caleb, enlighten us and the universe, who are also listening, about your favourite Dreamcast fighting game.
There can only be one. Soul Calibur.
Can you explain why this is your favorite game?
The soul still burns. It's just one of those ones that I picked up in college. It was the first kind of game where there was actually we got really competitive about it. And it's one of those ones that's it's easy to pick up, but then you can learn how to do more and more stuff as you go around. It's just the direct head-on-head, competition type thing, and it was pretty much the only game that I actually was except for Action Half-Life on the PC. It's basically the only game that I actually was involved with competitively that I was very, very good at.
Yeah, it's one of those games you can just kind of pick up and play, and you can be instantly good at it. But you can also put in loads of time and become even better by learning about the soul charge and that kind of thing. So
who's that? Who does everybody mean? Because I'm since I am at heart a scrub lord, Mitsurugi for me.
Me too.
Mitsurugi. No, it's Killick.
Killick.
No. Killick is too scrub lordy even for a scrub lord. If somebody picked Killick, F that guy.
He is king of the scrubs.
From my experience, and I am not pro at all with this game, but if you want to actually try and play it and get the mechanics under your belt, you want to choose someone like Maki or
Maki's confusing.
Maxi, sorry, and the woman as well with the two Taki or
Taki.
Taki.
One that screams like a banshee every time she does anything.
I feel a lot better when I win with those sort of characters than if I just pick Killick or Mitsurugi.
Or about Astaroth.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he is fine.
Cool. All right, let's move on. I've got a feeling that we might hear this name several times in this round. So, Aaron, favourite fighting game?
Yep, Soul Calibur.
Shall we just go through shall us go down the list and ask what everyone's favourite game was?
At this point, it's just going to become what's our opinion on this game? But, basically, I just think this is, alongside Shenmue, I think it's one of the most important games on the Dreamcast. I think, and I'm just really, my only thing I hate about it is the fact it's the only substantial game Namco did for the Dreamcast. Because can you just think if Namco actually stuck around for the Dreamcast and made more games for it? That one game, I mean, obviously they did a couple other games. They did Mr. Driller, they did Miss Pac-Man, Maze Madness and stuff like that, but they were just sort of chucked on. But Soul Calibur, it was the most, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it just felt like they'd been unshackled by PlayStation and was right, let's just make the biggest impression ever.
Yeah.
With the best port we've ever done. In fact, it's miles better than the arcade game. And let's just flood it with content, more content than any other fighting game, even now, I think. Even games coming out now have nowhere near as much content as this game had, all the special modes and that story mode and all the little missions where you get poisoned and all that kind of stuff. And it just plays magnificently. Anyone can play it. That game was the only fighting game I could get my sister into. She loved it. Any other fighting game, you'd be I don't get it. But this one, we would just play it for hours and hours and bring people round, and then they'll start playing it for hours and hours, and it just grabs everyone. Even we were saying earlier about how Ready to Rumble just draws anyone in. I think this game does it as well. It was another game from the American launch that was just this is the future of gaming. It just felt like anyone could play it, and there was just no limits to the fun you could have with it.
Well, I think one of the biggest things about it was that it looked better than the arcade version.
It's incredible compared to it. No one even remembers the arcade version now, because any time they think of Soul Calibur, even after 4 sequels, they still think of the Dreamcast one,
I can't think of many games right off the top of my head that must have shifted more Dreamcast consoles than Soul Calibur.
Other than, I don't know, Sonic or in America, the NFL games probably really helped. But yeah, Soul Calibur was probably the one that was right, we could wait for the PS2, but look, Soul Calibur, we could play this right now. We could be playing the next gen right now,
Phenomenal game. Is there any point moving on to Rob? What's your thoughts on Soul Calibur?
I've spoken enough about Soul Calibur. My choice is not Soul Calibur.
That's interesting.
My honourable mention, as I said, I sort of chose because I felt it was very Dreamcasting. It was sort of it was a crowd pleaser. This one is more of a personal choice, like Caleb did earlier. It is The Last Blade.
All right.
Which, The Last Blade 2 Final Edition, I cannot...
I can totally understand this one.
Unshackle me and I will talk about this game, or both the games, because I have both of them on Neo Geo as well, all day. Like, I am absolutely...
They are quite special.
They are the more I play it, and I'll tell you why, they've been in the forefront of my mind, because I don't know if you guys have followed, but very recently they've just come on the PlayStation Store.
Oh, yes.
They made
a
remake. They've done a remake of The Last Blade 2, which is The Last Blade on the Dreamcast. And I've been playing it a lot on the Vita and on the PlayStation. And I obviously play it an absolute load on the original Neo Geo system as well. And I'm just in love with it. It is an amazing game. How can I start? I mean, the setting in end of the 19th century, the Bakumatsu in Japan, it is an amazing setting. And it is sort of like East meets West. The characters are fabulous. They have very personal stories. The design of them is amazing. The background art is stunning, absolutely stunning.
The atmosphere in general is really unique. It's not flashy in any way. They just got like little noises going on in the background, like wind and like little audiences like humming in the background.
That's it.
It's just got such a unique feel.
You're right.
So it makes the battles even more intense in a way, because you're not like getting all this music blaring down your ears. You're just like concentrating on the battle, you know?
The wind and the grass rustling and that kind of thing. Yeah,
there's no music in this. You just
next to none.
Literally next to none. One of the liveliest background scenes is at some market festival in the centre of town, and you've got sort of like you've got festival sort of drums going on in the background. But the majority of the backgrounds, there's no music. Like one is just a dojo, a ruined dojo, which is on fire, and all you can hear is the crackling of the flames. Other ones, as Aaron says, it's just two characters meeting in rural Japan at some crossroads, and they fight. And all you can hear is like the wind whistling through the trees.
Going back to what you were saying about the characters as well, there's one character in particular who I think is just kind of amazing because there's nothing like it in fighting games. Hikari, I think her name is.
Do you mean Hibiki?
Hibiki, that's it, sorry, yeah. The fact that she breaks down and cries every time she kills someone.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other fighting game that does that well. Like Dead or Alive 2 has that stupid thing where you fight her sister and she goes, "Oh, why did I kill my sister?"
Yeah.
And it's really cheesy and badly done. But in that, you actually feel for her in a way. It's like, why am I doing this?
But that's the point. This is why this game stands out for me. Her motivations are perfect. She does break down and cry whenever she kills somebody in the game because she's a 14-year-old girl who's been sent out. Like, she's just had to do what she has to do. She's got her father is I think her father's like a swordsmith. And so she's carrying her father's sword, and she doesn't really want to go out and fight, but she has to. And so whenever she has to kill someone who gets in her way for her own personal mission in the story, it hurts because it's not something that she was born to do. And that sort of level of detail for the characters is spread across them all.
Definitely.
I don't want to take up too much time. The last thing I'll say,
I'm really glad you picked that.
The only bad point
good choice.
Is the final boss is nowhere near as good as the original game. In the original game, the boss his name is Musashi. He's based on Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese duelist.
I don't think I've played the first one yet. I'll have to get on that.
End of the first one, again, the background stage, it's like apocalyptic volcanoes are going off. You've got this legendary figure that you're fighting. The background music's amazing. And in this game, I don't even know who he's supposed to be. It's
just some guy with a big red hair.
That's right. Yeah. But seriously, guys, I could talk more, but I won't. But seriously, it is art. It is moving art. I mean, it is.
It really is.
If you say that Guilty Gear X is like art, then it is. It totally is. But this is like a classical painting.
Damn, that's quite high praise, to be honest. That's
pretty much agree with everything he said. Like, I do think this is quite a special game. I'd say it's an acquired taste. It won't be everyone's thing. But, like, for people that appreciate it, they'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I first played the game at your house, Rob, on the Neo Geo. And then I went and got the Dreamcast version on the back of that. So, yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. And I totally agree with everything you've said, because that particular stage in the dojo, which is on fire, was like
it's beautiful.
This is incredible.
It is stunning. It is absolutely stunning, and I cannot recommend it high enough.
That game came out around the same time as Mark of the Wolves as well, so just before SNK went out of business, they sort of like hit their peak.
You're right, yeah. I'll just say one more thing on my way out, not about the game, but I was going to say it was a toss-up between Mark of the Wolves and this for me, and in the end, this came out on top. But I would also like to echo everything that has been said before, specifically by Spencer, that Mark of the Wolves is also amazing.
Nice one. Cheers, Rob. Let's move on. Ross, favourite Dreamcast fighting game?
Yeah, so the way I had... There's such a huge library of fighting games here. So the way I had to choose one was, as you know, I'm into my arcade hardware and stuff. So I didn't choose any of the Neo Geo games because personally I'd rather play them on the MVS.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose any CPS2 or CPS3 games like Street Fighter Third Strike or Street Fighter 2 because I'd rather play them on the CPS2.
Yeah.
With no loading times, the proper sound chips and everything sounds better. But one of the Virtua Fighter 3 TB is not as good as the arcade version. Even I know I did choose Capcom vs SNK 2, but even that I'd probably rather play that on the Naomi than on the Dreamcast.
Fair enough.
But the one fighting game that the definitive version is on Dreamcast, and still they've not released a better version elsewhere, is Soul Calibur. The graphics, I've got the original arcade board, and it's like night and day. It's like pixelated around the edge.
I think I saw it in an arcade once, like maybe a year or so before the game came out on Dreamcast.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I'd never played it in the arcade until I ordered the board myself and played it, and it's nothing compared to the Dreamcast version. Gameplay wise, it's almost identical. Like there are some moves that have been added and some that have been taken away, and some balancing that's been done. It's still a good game, but yeah, there's no reason to play the arcade version if you've got the Dreamcast version. And it has come out on Xbox 360, but the 360 version plays just as well.
Not as much of the. It doesn't have all the modes,
resolution.
It doesn't have like the mission mode or anything.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it doesn't have the extra modes to play, like the missions and stuff. So I'd still recommend the Dreamcast version over all others. And I can't say that about pretty much any other game. That I love. Third Strike. You can get good versions on PS2, you can get a good version on 360, you can play the arcade. Same with Street Fighter 2, you can play it on 360, you can play it in the arcade. But Soul Calibur...
I think the only other game that on the Dreamcast that is pretty much only on Dreamcast, or the definitive one is on Dreamcast, outside of arcade, would be Project Justice. I'm just really surprised it's never been ported elsewhere.
Yeah, well, that too, though, you can get that on the Naomi. I know you did say outside the arcade, but that too, I can play that on the
I'm just surprised it never got ported to any other consoles in later times.
Soul Calibur is a double whammy. Not only is it the definitive console version, it's also better than the arcade. And the only other game I can think of like that is Tekken Tag Tournament, and that was also on System 12 hardware.
Yeah, that was
these boards. These were the same boards that Mr. Driller and Tekken 3 came out on, so they were really starting to show their age by the time it got.
And even Tekken Tag on PS2, as much of an upgrade it still felt kind of half-assed in comparison to Soul Calibur.
Yeah, but it had Tekken Bowling though, so.
Yeah, it did have Tekken Bowling.
Okay, so we've got another vote for Soul Calibur. Let's move on slightly to Mike. Mike, your favourite Dreamcast fighting game?
Yeah, I'm playing it safe after the last choice, Soul Calibur.
Not Shenmue then, not Shenmue 2, no.
Not Shenmue 2. No. Well, I could have done Shenmue 2. That would have alleviated some of the hate now. Soul Calibur. From someone who's not really a big fighting fan, the extra modes, the mission modes are awesome, and the game is the game which you put on to show people your Dreamcast was better than the other consoles.
Even if you don't play it, you can just go into all those demo modes and just watch the characters do their choreography and stuff, and just move the camera around and watch all the little rats scurrying along one of the levels and stuff.
I'll do what I did and just like kind of use the character mode just to kind of like zoom in on the women's asses and see how like well.
Oh, chops.
Well, I was going to pick Dead or Alive 2 simply for the sort of titillation effect, but
even Astroth has visits.
Yeah,
I checked.
Yeah, I was zooming in on Astaroth's butt. Excellent. Right then, Spencer.
Yep.
Let's hear your favourite Dreamcast fighting game.
Okay, so this was actually pretty difficult. This is kind of well, I've mentioned it earlier, but this isn't actually my favorite, but I'm choosing it because of how important it was and its legacy from the Dreamcast. And it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2,
Hey.
New Age of Heroes.
Excellent.
Good choice.
Excellent.
So you guys may not know this, but that game was still being played up to a few years ago at the EVO World Tournament.
Oh, wow.
On Dreamcast.
Oh, wow, really?
What, on Dreamcast?
Yeah, like
they were still playing the Dreamcast
The Marvel 2
version?
community.
Blimey.
Yes, on
I'm surprised.
Dreamcast. Yeah. EVO and Seasons Beatings, when it around, was basically the mecca of Marvel. And these guys would just carry around the Dreamcast. And they'd have their special burnt versions because they wanted all of their characters to have the same colors.
Swap the music out.
Listening to I'm gonna take you for a ride. Is,
Swap the music out.
Let's not listen to that for 10 years. But no, it's what really though is it's a 3-on-3 team-based fighter, like 56 characters.
It's ridiculous.
Like, that's insane. There's so many characters.
Some of them are complete crap, but they're there.
Yeah,
like
and then there's Magneto, Sentinel, Storm, and Cable that are just god tier.
It's
you
such
add them
an
to a team.
unbalanced game when you think about it. It is actually a complete and utter clusterfuck, but it's beautiful for that.
So Magneto has same side cross-ups. What that means is he is on your right side and is able to attack your left, but you have to block where he is, but he's going to attack on the other side.
Wow.
It
seems so technical. It's just like, wow, my head's exploding just listening to this.
Oh, yeah. No, and that can be an overhead, and we can have someone going under you as well.
I mean, I know there's another level above like the average gamer like myself that is really technical, and it's amazing to watch. I could never even hope to emulate that.
Yeah, and that was something I wanted to talk about was like this game is enjoyable for all skill levels.
Yeah, totally.
Like even not knowing what you do, just mashing buttons and good stuff happens. And then you see the advanced stuff and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I really love the control scheme for that one, where you could basically assign a special to two of the buttons, and then you could just swap characters with it every two buttons.
You can assign a button to dash.
Yeah, exactly. I really liked how the control scheme worked. They actually simplified things, so you could do the special moves the traditional way if you wanted, but you don't have to. You can sort of like pick your style.
Actually, there was a top player. Oh man, I want to say it was either Fnatic or Tone. I hope I don't get that wrong, but one of them, he was a pad player.
Okay.
And he's a top Marvel 2 player, and
compared to every other game, I actually felt that you could still play that with a pads, just about.
He was involved in a couple $1,000 money match
with a controller.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I can't remember if he won or not, but he definitely put up a fight.
Yeah, it is actually quite satisfying to play with a pad. Weirdly enough, like just mashing them two shoulder pads to get the specials out.
Yeah.
Take
Amazing.
that. It's like you grip the controller to.
And what
set
I really
the screen on
like
fire.
about the game is how almost broken it can become. Like how some of these people have figured out, so if I switch so there's you can switch characters like on the loading screen, and if I do that, it activates a glitch in that my first attack is going to be like one frame.
Yeah.
So basically
it's kind of like a kind of unique. I mean, they tried to recapture that with the third game, and it just didn't really work because that game was actually balanced, and it.
Yeah, I'd almost say Marvel 2 was a mistake.
You could tell they rushed it, and you can tell they just chucked everything at it and went, "Oh well, just we haven't got this license for long. Quick, just chuck out a bunch of random stuff."
And then players went, "Oh wow, there's some really broken stuff," and then they went, "There's a lot of broken stuff. In fact, there's so much. It's balanced."
It's kind of like Smash Brothers Melee in the same way that's become the favorite of that series.
In one of the videos, the Justin Wong Never Give Up, it's have your whole team lose it in a second.
Yeah.
Like you can you mess up 3 times, you're done.
No, it's an interesting world to look into as an outsider, just the hardcore world of 2D fighters. I mean, obviously you're saying that this was still being used at EVO up until a couple of years ago. That's insane, Wow.
Yeah, so much so that Japanese has fighting games pretty much on lock, but Marvel was America's game.
Totally.
Like we have what's known as the 3 Marvel gods, and if you can defeat any of them in a tournament, now you're a big star.
Top dog.
Wow.
And I can't say the same for there are good top players in many other games, but nothing considered gods.
What an accolade to be given. Wow. Yeah. No, that's a really.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
I must admit that game actually
totally
got me in. I think that was the game that got me into Capcom fighting games in the first place. I played it in Disney Quest in I think 2000s or something, and that was the first time I'd played a Capcom fighting game for longer than 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I really like this.
I remember seeing it for the first time, and I'm just going, I want to play this game, yeah.
As soon as I got back home, I bought the Dreamcast version, I think.
We did an article recently on the Junkyard about the 5 games that are better than Street Fighter 5. And I wrote about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because it's a phenomenal game, and as a bit of a novice on the genre, it's really easy, as we've said before, to pick up and play and look like you actually know what you're doing. Obviously, not against somebody who does actually know what they're doing, but against other noobs, as it were.
Well, hey, the team there's so much variety in that game. You can almost play almost any character you want and be able to build a team that works around them. There's a strange team that has Tron Bond.
I love playing this Tron Bond.
Normally it's why would I play Tron Bond? But one of her assists is just incredible damage.
Yeah, Tron Bond's really fun to play as.
And then there's goofy stuff like Iceman only takes chip damage from other elements. And Silver Samurai has a super that does more damage on chip than it does on block than it does if it actually hits.
That's almost I didn't even realize that's RPG levels of.
Yeah, and then certain supers you can mash
Is that
to do even more damage.
Like laser gun thing and that, or
Yeah, Hyper Viper Beam. And then that one, if you do it in the air, there's no recovery. And it's instant.
This sounds like a different language.
It kind of is.
And we haven't even touched the unblockables. Like I said, it's a beautifully broken game.
There you go. That's it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a beautifully broken game. Yeah, I think they should have put that in the box. That's brilliant. I mean, we've really touched on some amazing games today. I mean, I'd just like to throw my little bit in at the end. My favourite fighting game on the Dreamcast is Soul Calibur. I mean, I can't really.
Oh, never heard of that one. That's quite niche.
Tell me more.
I can't.
Japan
I can't
only,
really
right?
add anything more.
Was it a Dreamcast family?
Yeah. It's I can't really add anything more that's already been said. Really, to be honest. Again, as a bit of a novice on fighting games, it's just so easy to pick up and play, and just looks amazing. And there's so much to do. I can't really say anything more than it's already been said.
Did anyone play the sequels trying to rekindle the fire that you got from that first game, and it just didn't work?
Yes,
they were just as good, probably. But
for me, Soul Calibur 2 was my first one. So,
oh really?
Going back, I'm like, okay, I can see and I can appreciate everything, but Soul Calibur 2 just seemed to do everything that Soul Calibur 1 did.
I mean, they did, but if you played Soul Calibur 1 first, technically the second game in the series,
right?
Yeah, if you played one of the later ones first and then went back to the Dreamcast one, you'd be like, I don't really get why people say this is the best one, but yeah.
Well, I think I was lucky in that my first one was 2. And not 4 or 5,
really
one of the later.
What's the one on the Vita?
Oh, that would be Broken Legends.
Yeah.
Or Broken Destiny, one of those.
Any good?
It's alright.
Yeah, it's like Soul Calibur 4, but portable.
3, 3, isn't it? It's got the creative character.
No, it's more like 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely more like 4, yeah.
Creative character was in 4 as well.
4's the one with Darth Vader and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but the creative character mode in Soul Calibur, or 3, is so good.
The jump shark, yeah.
Yeah, I felt Soul Calibur 2 and all the Soul Caliburs after that, they weren't as fluid, and a lot of the combos felt more like
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was about.
And set places,
ones.
one move going.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And the music wasn't as good. I don't think it was as intense. The music in the first game is just ridiculously intense. Just bashes you over the skull with it. How
and you had
epic
the guard impact and guard parry that both worked well.
I gotta say, I did enjoy the gimmick of having different characters on different consoles.
Yeah.
The Link was in the for Soul Calibur 2 and everything.
Yeah.
Xbox got the short end of the stick
because I don't know, what does Xbox have?
I had, for some reason, I chose Heihachi over Link, so I just hear all this greatness about Link while I was just tackling people off edges with Heihachi.
That's great. That sounds fun.
That was all I needed from that game. I just run to him and then I just tackle, and I either win or lose.
Guys, we've covered some absolutely phenomenal games in this
we
in
barely
this
scratched
episode.
the surface as far as I
I know,
the fighting stuff on the Dreamcast is ridiculous.
We haven't even talked about Street Fighter 2 yet.
Or Street Fighter 3 or anything like that. However, I think
who wants to be up a millionaire?
No, Rose, no.
Oh, no. That's my...
Who wants to eat 1,000,000 pears?
I tell you what, we should totally do like an armchair round table follow-up to this, which is a bit more informal, where we can continue to talk.
Just go for an extra 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm really. So, nobody talked about Power Stone very much.
Incredible.
And that's a real shame.
Oh no!
Powerful.
That's another game that up there with Soul Calibur and Marvel 2 is just like really, anyone can play. But
it is. We could literally sit here and talk about this for a week.
Yeah.
However, the one thing that we've all kind of agreed on is that the Dreamcast has a phenomenal library of fighting games, and I'm struggling to think of another console that actually covers so many different types of fighting game. 3D, 2D,
all arcade perfect ports almost, or better.
Yeah,
the vast majority.
Yeah, a good chunk of them.
Marvel 2 is on Dreamcast is the definitive edition for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. However, we need to end because we've got other things to do. So what we'll do now is we've talked about the shit, the good, and the amazing. Because let's be honest, other than the ones we've kind of touched on that are not so good, they're still pretty decent at the end of the day.
Except Mortal Kombat.
Except Mortal Kombat, yeah. And Shenmue. Don't hit me. Hey, Mike. But yeah, we're going to have to bring it to a close because we've been talking for nearly 2 hours now. Well, I really just want to say thank you to Spencer really for joining us and for backing us on Patreon and just coming on and being really.
Oh no, the thank is all on my side. Thank you for having me on.
It's been a pleasure. Before we kind of go, we just want to do a couple of bit of housekeeping. If you want to see Spencer's amazing articles, all you need to do is go on to hardcoregaming101.net and just type Don Don Patchy.
If it's the first time you've been on that website, try to book a week off work first.
Yeah.
No, that used to be my go-to game when I was at work and like the boss or whatever wasn't around. I just hardcore game 101, but then randomly one day it was like blocked.
Oh, that's horrible.
It was like one of the few video game sites that wasn't blocked, and then one day it was blocked, and
that was obviously a sad day for all concerned.
It's hardcore, obviously it's porn.
Yeah, check out Spencer's work on Hardcore Gaming 101. Also, you can. Are you on like Twitter and Facebook, Spencer?
Yeah, my Facebook's the personal one, and I really just use Twitter, and everything just goes to there. So,
what's your handle on Twitter?
It's a weeaboo one, so don't laugh, everyone. It's Masamune_shadow. So that's MASAMUNE_ and then shadow.
So go and follow Spencer. You can find the rest of us on Twitter. We'll go around the table. Caleb, you don't do Twitter, but you do YouTube. You're on YouTube at
Blandco. That's Bland.co Blandco. I'm going to be doing my podcast, Not My Generation, where it's a random topic podcast about current topics, and I'll also be doing some stuff about miniatures, and hopefully some more. The former governor will be coming back to do some videos about Dreamcast games.
Excellent, Aaron. You're on both YouTube and Twitter.
My personal Twitter is the Gaggerman. And I'm also on a gaming channel called Lucky Hit Series, which can be found on Twitter and YouTube and all over the place. So Lucky Hit Series, if you look for that, you'll find me somewhere.
Excellent. Rob, you can be found on not only t3.com, but also on Twitter. Where can you be found on Twitter?
At rnicholasj. That's at rnicholasj, all one word.
Excellent. And this is sounding like a proper lengthy Twitter roll call. We've got Ross, you're not on Twitter, are you? Just kind of like lurking around the Facebook page?
Facebook. Just feel free to message me on Facebook. Unless you're part of Project Dream, then don't worry. Don't call me. Don't call me. I'll call you. Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Mark, you're on Twitter at.
All hate mail can be directed towards at @space_turnip.
And you can also find me at Tom Lee C, or you can find us as a collective on Twitter at the DC Junkyard, or on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the Dreamcast Junkyard, also at www.thedreamcastjunkyard.co.uk. One last thing, I just want to give a massive shout out and thanks to all the people who back us on Patreon, including Spencer. I'm going to give just a rundown of the names here because I see it's the right thing to do. So we've got Dave Baldwin, Matthew Smith, Tristan Brown, James Steele, Sean NZ17 Robinson, Dan Patton, DCGX, Spencer Johnson. We've also got Garrett Otto, Chris Unwin, Alexander Padilla, who also writes for Retro Collect. We've got Jason Cathers, Brandon Aaron, Alex Hirsch, and John Thompson, and also Random Dave, who did the recent Dreamcast games Toothcracker and James and Watch. So we've got quite a few there now. Yeah. So thank you to all our Patreon backers.
Tom, wait, can I just say something real quick? So you can also follow Hardcore Gaming on Twitter at HG_101. And if you want to see my face in person and tell me how wrong I may or may not be, I will be at Too Many Games this weekend in Oaks, Pennsylvania, with a bunch of other popular gaming, retro collecting YouTubers, as well as Kurt, my editor and also founder of HardcoreGaming101.net.
Thank you very much to all my co-hosts, and thank you very much for listening. If you like what we've heard, please leave us an iTunes review, because it helps us get our message out that there is an active Dreamcast community, and we are
an active podcast.
Actively part of projecting our love for the Dreamcast out onto the internet. But that will do it for episode 34 of the Dreamcast Junkyard DreamPod, and we'll see you on the next one. From me and everybody else here, goodbye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. See you later.
Get lost.
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go.
Please stop this disc now.